in the background, in the sense in what is happening on the spiritual realm. And you know, Ephesians 6 talks about it is not flesh, human flesh, that we're fighting against, but principalities and powers of darkness. And so this feast day of the holy archangels is very important, because it's important for us to call upon the archangels to intercede for us. So I'm going to read to you a little bit about Revelation 12, because this scripture especially talks about the spiritual battle that is taking place. And I'm not going to go through the whole scripture. I have cut it down a lot, and I just want to highlight different lines to help us to get into the full context of the spiritual battle that is taking place. So Revelation 12 speaks of the woman and the dragon. It says, a great sign appeared in heaven, a woman clothed with the sun, and she was about to give birth. Then another sign appeared in heaven, an enormous red dragon. So then the dragon tries to devour the child that was in the woman's womb, and the child, which is Jesus, was snatched up to God. So then war broke out in heaven. Michael and his angels fought against the dragon, and the dragon and his angels fought back. But he was not strong enough, and they lost their place in heaven. So Satan, the dragon, and his demons, they lost the war with St. Michael and his angels. And so the great dragon was hurled down. He was hurled down to lead the whole world astray. He was hurled to the earth, and his angels with him. So Satan is hurled to earth with the demons, with the bad angels. So then a voice is heard in heaven, therefore rejoice, you heavens, and you who dwell in them, because the battle was won in heaven. And it goes on to say, but woe to the earth and the sea, because the devil has gone down to you. He is filled with fury, because he knows that his time is short. And so that's us here on earth. The devil and his demons have waged war against us. And he first pursues the woman in his fury. But the woman flees for a time, and she's protected. So the dragon is enraged. He's enraged at the woman, and he went off to wage war against the rest of her offspring, which is us, those who keep God's commands and hold fast their testimony about Jesus. So this is the times we're living in. Satan has had reign ever since the fall, and even more so in these 100 years that we've been in. There's been prophecy that God has allowed Satan to have full reign, to have more power than ever before. This is actually a prophecy from Pope Leo the 13th, who after Mass one day, he went into the ecstasy, and he heard the voice of Satan come before the throne of God, asking to test the church, and kind of similar to what happened to Job. And God told him he could have a time, that he could have 100 years to test the church, and that he could choose. And Satan has chosen this time in which we're living right now. You know, some people say that it may have started in 1917, around the time that Fatima, the apparition of Fatima. But Pope Leo the 13th, after this mystical experience, he actually composed the exorcism prayer the St. Michael prayer. So that's why he had even asked that after Mass, the St. Michael prayer be prayed. It's not prayed in most churches now, because I think the evil one had a way of getting that prayer out of the churches so that we wouldn't call upon St. Michael as much. But this is the spot we're in right now. We are in a major spiritual battle. And the woman, clothed with the sun, is the leader of the cohort of those who are choosing God. She's the queen of heaven and earth, and it's Mary. And Satan is the leader of the cohort of those who are choosing non-serviam. I will not choose God. And so, of course, for each one of us, we have to choose who we want to follow. Do we want to give our lives to God? Do we want to follow Him? Or do we want to do our own will and follow the way the evil one did? Satan said non-serviam because he wanted to be God himself. He wanted to be in control of his own life. For those of us who choose to be children of God, we say, Lord, be it done unto me according to your will, just as Jesus clearly showed us the way, and of course Mary as well. And so I just want to encourage all of us to call upon the archangels, the holy archangels, in this time of battle, because it is such a major battle that we're in. And I'm going to just share with you quickly each one of these holy archangels. Saint Michael, his name means who is like unto God, and his main role is to battle Satan. He fights spiritual, moral, and physical attacks of Satan. He's the patron of soldiers, police, and doctors. So, I mean, if we could even imagine right now, if we exercised our spiritual senses, we would be able to see the battle taking place around us. And it's a major battle. We would see the demons and the angels fighting. And this is why it's so important for us to call upon our guardian angel. And the guardian angel's feast day is actually this Monday. And so also to call upon St. Michael and St. Gabriel. This is St. Gabriel. His name is Strength of God. And of course, Gabriel communicates God's will. We see he's appeared to Mary at the Annunciation, communicating God's will, and then to Zechariah, again communicating God's will. But in other places in Scripture, Gabriel is there as well. And he also fights the most dangerous snare of Satan, to weaken us. Satan is always trying to weaken us. And Gabriel is the strength of God, and he wants to clothe us with the strength of God. And, Satan is always trying to cause discouragement, weariness, doubt, uncertainty, uneasiness in serving God. And do we ever feel that way? Then we have Raphael. God heals. And Raphael pours balm on our wounds, just like if we remember the scriptures where he healed Tobit, and he traveled with Tobiah, and he had Tobiah meet Sarah, and who did get married, and then he delivered Sarah from the evil spirit. And so Saint Raphael is the patron saint of travelers, the blind, bodily ills, happy meetings, including finding a spouse. I know some people call upon him for that. Nurses, physicians, and medical workers. So I encourage us all to really honor the archangels today and always, especially in our times. Saint Gabriel, Saint Raphael, Saint Michael, pray for